Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
You guys, we're cursed, okay?
We're cursed, and the source of the curse will be made apparent.
Very clear.
Yeah.
We know what she did.
Oh, no.
This is our second attempt recording this episode. The first did not go great.
No, and
It's
in the
fine.
time it took for us to get our tech figured out overnight, I got real sick.
Yep.
So we're just making it work.
Yeah,
We're
that's
making
what
it
you
work.
get for babysitting.
Yeah, this is what I get for babysitting. I think I caught a bug from a foul child.
Never babysit is
I
the lesson
mean-
learned here.
But I love them so much.
And also, if you don't have to use MediaCom, don't use MediaCom.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's the other lesson.
We've learned so many lessons in the last 24 hours. Don't drink cough syrup on an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
You will barf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you will barf. And if you're wondering why I don't have my video on, it's because I'm disgusting and I literally have a barf trash bag next to me just in case. So you're just not getting that kind of intimacy from me today. I'm sorry. It's just not happening.
It's
Fine.
what it's.
It's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
You don't have to always be visible.
Thank you.
Well, who are we even?
Oh my God.
I'm.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm Kenyan.
Oh God, I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
And today we have a very, very special fan pick.
Very haunted fan pick.
Very haunted fan pick. Brought to you by fan picker Heather Wynn, who has selected this episode topic to honor her mother who has passed on.
Her dead mother.
Her dead mother.
Dead mom.
She was alive, but no, she's dead as a darnail.
Her dead mom, Evelyn.
Oh
And
God.
Heather selected the title Dead Evelyn Crime.
It wasn't us, you guys.
That's why I feel like I can say her mom's dead.
She's
dead.
dead.
Peter's gay.
Dead! Dead!
And Evelyn joined us yesterday, has haunted us ever since, and she's
Yep.
joining us again today.
Here she
Introduce
is.
her, Lucy.
Like I've
Oh my
cleaned
God.
my desk from yesterday. Evelyn, why don't you say hi to the people?
Okay, so for those of you not
I am shocked.
to see the video, Lachelle
Lucy did
just-
not do that yesterday. I was not expecting that.
the happy Ziploc bag of Evelyn's ashes labeled in Sharpie dead Evelyn into the microphone.
There are
You're
photos
shaking.
on the drive, which will be on the blog, of Evelyn in life and also in death, because I wanted to show the coarseness of her cremains.
I was just about to comment on
They're chunky.
the coarseness.
My dad's really
we will
chunky, too.
get to the coarseness,
Okay.
actually.
All right. Okay. Well, first, let's get to our wine crime pairings. I know Amanda wants to drink wine right now.
Oh my God.
What have we got going on for dead Evelyn?
I mean, I'm personally drinking tea because I can't. I'm too sick. But I went on a search for Evelyn beverages and I did find some exquisite Evelyn wines. And I know that Heather wanted a New Zealand Sauv Blanc, but Evelyn
Heather's
is
got great taste.
She's got great
don't we
taste.
all?
And Evelyn is expensive, y'all. Like the wines I found were over $60 a bottle. So I was like, I can't do that to us. So instead I
To
thought,
our bottom line.
yeah. I'm like, let's try and I was like, instead I bet I could find a cocktail that is made up of items that most people will have on their bar. And it turns out there is one that I will absolutely be making the second my sore throat and congestion clears up. It's called the Lady Evelyn cocktail.
Ooh.
And I got this recipe from Cocktail Builder. Thank you, Cocktail Builder, CB. It's really simple. It's just 1.5 ounces of dry vermouth, 1 ounce of gin, and 2 teaspoons of Cointreau or just whatever like orange liqueur you have. I am a Grand Marnier gal, so I will be using Granny instead of Cointreau. I also have upgraded like a lot of good margarita recipes call for Cointreau. I'm telling you, if you can wiggle on your budget, upgrade it to Grand Marnier. It will elevate any beverage, any cocktail that asks for orange liqueur or Cointreau. Like, I'm telling you, it's so much better.
I agree.
Yep.
I concur.
It's so good.
I have both on my bar, but
There you go.
didn't really understand the difference.
Yeah, I just think that I personally just find Grand Marnier to be, it's more of an elevated liqueur. It's more expensive. It's good. I like it. I also will sip it
There's a little
straight.
more depth to it. It's not just like a shot of orange flavor. It's like it enhances
some
the flavors of the
botanicals.
other liquors in there.
Exactly. So you simply pour the vermouth, the gin, and the triple sec into a mixing glass half filled with ice. You stir it, or you can shake it in a shaker, strain it into a cocktail glass. You can serve it up. You could serve it on the rocks, but they recommend serving it up. And fucking get in there. Get yourself a drink. I think this would
like
also
it.
be really good with an orange slice.
Yeah. 1000%.
So
I
I
have a
want
garnish.
Yeah, you got to garnish it. So I would love for folks who are able to recreate this to tag me in your photos so I can live vicariously through you, because your girl is just vacillating between apple juice and tea right now. Crushing it.
If you had put an orange slice into that apple juice, nobody would have ever known.
You're probably right. I could have fooled you, but
That sounds
can't
good.
fool my taste buds. I know there's no booze in that. And I'm sad about it. What are you
If there's
two
no
drinking?
booze in it, why make it look fancy?
I'm
What's the
also
fucking
being
point?
boring and drinking water.
Nice.
I'm also being boring and drinking water, but I did take a gummy.
Oh,
There you go.
go girl. Carry us. Carry
One of us
us.
has to be intoxicated somehow.
Somehow.
Or else we're not on brand. Am I right?
All right. Well, Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych for fucking dead Evelyn crimes?
My God.
Well,
What on earth are you going to cover for
because
this
I
one?
don't have psych, and
Teratomas?
technically, well, almost. So I don't have any psych, so I have to shake some bones. And technically, what you receive as cremains
Or bone fragments.
are bone. It's
Shake her
just
up.
the bone. It's not ash. So I'm gonna shake Evelyn right now.
Evelyn. What a beautiful little tinkle.
Yeah. And also, Heather sent along Evelyn's obituary.
Oh.
So I will be reading that at the top of my segment.
A little
Here
bit of
we
a
go.
crossover special from GAC.
I
It
love
is
this.
a bit of a crossover, and I'm here for it. So, Evelyn Marie Smith was born on August 22nd, 1948, in the state that Kenyon always forgets about, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
I do always forget about it.
I forget about Delaware.
Yeah.
There's
fair.
always a state someone forgets about, and it's never California.
Never.
Just saying.
Gun to my head, I could not locate Arkansas on the map, and I'm pretty good at geography.
I don't think I could either. I can locate Kentucky because it looks like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I could locate Arkansas because I've been there for a dear friend's wedding.
Oh,
Recently.
yeah.
Right.
It's not far from
It's
Iowa.
actually super drivable from Des Moines, which was shocking to me. And it's
Okay, that gives us a general location.
It's really cool. I actually think it's just south of Missouri, is it not?
Where the fuck is Missouri?
South of Iowa. It goes
Oh.
Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, and I think Arkansas
Arkansas
is
is
either
just-
under that or to the east of that.
But
anyway.
You know what? There's no way to know.
There's
There is
no
no
maps
way to
that
know.
will ever tell us this. So, moving on. Next.
Easy to drive through, beautiful topography.
Okay.
On January 15th, 2021, she, Dead Evelyn, transcended to Dead Evelyn. There we go. Succumbing after a short battle with lung cancer. She was survived by her daughter, Heather, fan picker Heather, who now steps on cracks with reckless abandon. And also her 2 awesome granddaughters. And by the way, there's a photo of Evelyn in life, live Evelyn,
Live Evelyn.
with her. I don't know if it's her. It's at least one granddaughter, and then also Anne Jeanette, whom we met at the Chicago show, one
love
of the
you.
Chicago shows.
And Jeanette.
And I have some of Anne Jeanette's and Heather's children's teeth in my cabinet.
My God. Okay.
They're committed coven members. What can I say?
We get so many interesting
And if
gifts.
you want to send Lucy
Your
your
teeth.
loved one's cremains, we will be happy to share our P.O. box.
I am
It's on our website.
more interested in your children's teeth because I got an entire graduated cylinder,
Or any
That's
adult
only, like,
teeth that happen to fall out.
10% filled. Yeah, any teeth. But I'm preferring human teeth for this particular installation.
Right.
But I'm not picky.
No.
So Evelyn worked as a secretary at Purdue University, which is where she met both of her husbands.
Get it?
Get it? She got it. These marriages were very short-lived as she had terrible taste in men. She's in a dark, dark place.
Oh, so dark.
This didn't stop her from doling out the marriage advice to her daughter, however. Okay,
Knows
Heather,
what not to
sound
do.
off.
She knows, yeah. I feel like a twice divorced person is probably the best person to give you marriage advice. Oh my God, I'm fine.
Marriage device.
Marriage device. Apply
Well,
your marriage device.
Directly to the forehead. While her education was limited, she had a successful career and even owned a company before retiring to take care of her granddaughters. She met a few famous folks during her lifetime, including JFK, Pierre Trudeau, and Oprah.
Damn.
Being of a certain age, she always pronounced Social Security as social security.
I had no idea that was a thing.
We
so a thing.
It's so a thing, and it's one of my favorite things. Like,
No
it's
idea.
annoying, but it's also so endearing and weird.
It's like how people of a certain age say diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's just
at
so
some
weird.
point in their formation, that is how it was pronounced, like on the radio or something.
Must have.
and it
Social.
just stuck.
Social Security.
Social Security, but then they don't. But then they say it normal otherwise.
Yeah.
So they can say social.
Well, the next line is, but she had no issues with pronouncing social media, but
my
it's just
God.
in the context of social security.
Social
Security.
Security.
I gotta say social.
I'm telling you,
I love
I'm gonna
that
start.
so much.
I'm gonna start accosting old people on the street and asking them to say social security and just see what happens.
I'm googling this. Why do old,
Old people
people say
Say social
social?
security.
How would we spell social?
SOSAL.
Heather spelt it SOSSAL. Social security.
Social security.
I
don't know if the
it's
internet's
a hard
gonna-
googs. I'm gonna
Yeah.
work on this offline and
While
get back to you. all.
Yeah, while you look this up, I'll just finish this out by saying she, Evelyn, also made a hella good curried chicken salad with halved
Yum.
grapes. Yum. She started out with not a lot, worked hard, and did her best to be an amazing mom and grandmother. She had wonderful friends and lived a full, though not long enough, life. Currently, she enjoys hanging out in her urn, Lucy's Curiosities cabinet, and quote unquote heaven.
Oh.
Yeah, and our
That's a-
recording spaces.
Yeah, right here. So beautiful tribute, Heather.
Great obit, Heather.
Great
I'm assuming
obit.
you wrote the obit and you nailed it.
Yeah.
So beautiful. We love it. We love you, and we wish we had known Evelyn. Sounds like a
Evelyn-
real pip.
Sounds amazing and looks adorable.
like a
If you
hoot.
want to look at the picture, which
She's
will
so
be on the
cute.
blog. She's so just tiny and cute. Okay, so on to my regular segment. Like I alluded to, once again, I had no idea how to cover background and psych for this specific topic, dead Evelyn crimes.
Right.
However, since I have part or at least parts of dead Evelyn in cremain form here with me now, I thought I would tell you a little more about cremation. And I know I've talked about cremation, I think
There's
in a
always
guest.
more to say.
There's
Always.
always more to say. So I'm going to hit on some things, maybe some questions that you had that you didn't think to answer for the last time I talked about cremation.
Okay.
So cremation is, as we know, the practice of reducing a corpse to its essential elements by burning. Also, when I Googled cremation, you know how Google brings up like the people also ask
Oh yeah,
box?
like auto populates. I love it.
And apparently a lot of people also ask, does it hurt to be cremated?
You're dead.
I mean, I guess it could if you're not dead yet.
Yeah, to be, yes, being
you'll go for
burned
a walk.
alive would hurt really bad, but
So the answer is the body does not feel pain during cremation because the person is no longer alive. And when a person dies, the brain stops sending signals to the body.
There it is.
This means the person cannot feel pain or any other sensation. In fact, a dead person feels nothing at all. I love how condescending that article was.
Yeah, they're like, I guess we're gonna talk about this now.
We're really going to drive this home. Here are some fun cremation facts from Elemental Cremation and Burial. Actually, the first fact is from my lover, Encyclopedia Britannica. I built this segment kind of piecemeal.
You built this city on rock and roll, babe.
It's fine. So, from my lover, quote, the practice of cremation on open fires was introduced to the Western world by the Greeks as early as 1000 BCE. And I am acknowledging the Eurocentricness of this article. The reason why there isn't a lot of information about, like, for example, the Eastern world, can you even say that? About cremation is because it just has happened since, like, antiquity. It's just like it's just always been around. But it hasn't always been in line with Western values in terms of, like, the historical record.
Okay.
So the Greeks seem to have adopted cremation from some northern people as an imperative of war. To ensure soldiers slain in alien territory, a homeland funeral attended by family and fellow citizens. So basically it was a way to transport the bodies to have a socially acceptable, culturally acceptable funeral.
Yeah. Commemorate.
Because that's a lot of bodies in war to lug back in full form.
It's not like they could properly identify them and, like, just think about all the logistics of that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a hard enough about
now.
it, like, in modernity, let alone, like, way back then. So corpses were incinerated on the battlefield. Then the ashes were gathered up and sent to the homeland for ceremonial entombment. Although ground burial continued, even a symbolic sprinkling of earth over the body fulfilled the requirements.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
For ground burial.
Can I say a Last of Us spoiler, since this will come out in a little while?
Absolutely. I'm fully caught up.
Mild little spoiler. Okay, this was like episode 4, maybe.
Sure was.
When they're with Henry and Sam or whatever.
Oh, wasn't that
the brothers?
3? Oh, the brothers. Okay,
episode 3 was the traumatic episode.
They're
episode
all
4
traumatic, but
was the one with the brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, the little boy. When they, like, they get across the river, whatever. It's all blending. I don't know. They're burying them. They're taking the time to bury these two people.
Right.
Which, like, they cared about them.
Because they cared about them. I get it. But, like, I just wouldn't do that in that scenario.
And I actually thought the same thing. Because as
did.
I've stated a number of times, it takes a lot of fucking effort to dig a hole.
Yeah, but Pedro Pascal is fucking strong.
Daddy.
Yeah, but where did he even get the shovel?
He just uses bare goddamn hands. Daddy don't need no shovel.
Oh,
He was
cute.
shown with a shovel.
He is a daddy
yes,
for
he's
sure.
The
so
way
cute.
I would die for that man to bury me, just to be buried by that man, I would die.
He's real cute. Yeah, no, it bothers me. It's like, I get the ceremony, like, sprinkle some ceremonial dirt, lay a wildflower down.
There are a
and then
million ways to
haul ass out of there.
Yeah, there are a million ways to acknowledge a death. And I think this has been, like, obviously an issue throughout human history. We've acknowledged death in a million different ways. I feel like burying a body significantly under the dirt, if it's not a plague situation, which we talked
in
about
apocalyptic
recently,
times when you're being chased by deadly
why waste your
fungi
time and
monsters.
energy? Why?
I just read it.
You're surviving on 2 fucking sticks of beef jerky a day. How are you? Just move on.
And how much
friends.
clean water?
Yeah, it bothered me.
It actually bothered me too. Now that we're talking about it, anyway. Ending the spoiler alert because
Oh my
we've
God,
spoiled
you're
a
monsters.
bunch.
I love you.
Lucy Lucy and I have been on a tear of thinking the same thing at the same time.
Clearly,
lately.
We
you're
both
busting
texted
this wide open.
children are foul at the exact same moment earlier today.
You did.
That
You
was
did.
weird. That was weird. Okay. The sprinkling of the earth. Although ground burial continued, cremation became so closely associated with valor and manly virtue, patriotism, and military glory that it was regarded as the only fitting conclusion for an epic life. So when we think about like Viking funerals with the arrow, the shooting the arrow with the flames and stuff, that's directly tied.
Hands down, one of the absolute coolest ways to go.
1000%. It's so fucking cool. And it looks good in every movie and TV show. Lord of the Rings, fucking, didn't they do it in Game of Thrones? I don't know.
Valhalla, whatever, with the cute guy.
So weird. So
Yeah, all those. Okay, so the rest of these are from elemental cremation and burial. So you have to get the oven up to and over 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 760 degrees Celsius. So it's very, very, very hot. It's hotter than
teeth
just
pulp
a
too
regular
hot.
flame.
You're not going to get there with your average backyard bonfire.
All right, Stephen Avery.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial.
I don't think he did it, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he did it either, but
I'm kind of
that's
on the
just-
fence about him.
I'm on the fence about it too. But it's all that always that when you talk about this, the
Yes.
shot of them in
That's
the
what I
backyard, it's always what I picture.
Either way, and regardless, whoever tries to burn a body like
You're an
DIY,
idiot.
you're not.
It's not gonna work out.
You're
It's
not going
going
to
to
get
take a
all of
lot.
it.
No,
It's going
you're
to
only
take a
gonna get
lot
rid of
more
soft
time
tissue.
and effort than you expect to do it thoroughly, and you're still probably going to get caught because it's actually really difficult.
Almost
to do
making
that.
it easier for investigators to
No,
get at that
something's
tooth
off. Yeah.
Also, this is only the first step of actual cremation, which I guess I'll kind of get to. But okay,
Then
so
you put it in like a rock tumbler.
Oh god.
You put it into like basically a Vitamix blender.
Oh my god.
We'll get to
My
it.
father was cremated.
We
I
all
know.
have loved ones that were cremated.
I know.
You're not
I did.
Jessica was
I'm not
cremated.
special. I've also
Where's she
definitely
at? Where's that bitch at?
sneezed into his ashes
Let
when
me
I was
grab-
transferring them to an urn from a plastic bag. So
Let me grab either Jessica or my grandmother. I can't remember which, and it's not labeled, and now there's no way to know.
love it. This past Christmas, we were at
No.
we were on the Finkenauer side of the family's little compound, and they always get us weird Christmas gifts. And this year, they just Bob and
That's
Nancy
Jessica.
Finkenauer. Oh yeah,
That's
In
Jessica. Yeah.
in the camera.
I know those bones anywhere.
Oh,
All right,
no.
well, then I got to label them. And then I don't
Yep.
know where my grandma's at.
She gone. But yeah, we got Jessica
We
in
got
those
two.
little
We got
camera
two
film containers.
film canisters of
Okay.
Jessica. That's definitely Jessica.
Okay.
But for Christmas this past year, Bob and Nance just had me only for the day. This is my Christmas gift for one day. Holds the plastic bag ashes of her uncle because she knew I would enjoy hanging out with them. So I just got to borrow her uncle for one day, his ashes. in
That's a
bag.
gift?
Yeah, as a gift. And it was actually a very nice kind of soothing tactile experience to squeeze at this bag.
okay.
Were you
My
close to this person?
No, I've never met this man in my life, but I'm very close with Bob and Nance, but I've never met Nancy's uncle.
Bob.
I think
and
she
Nance.
wasn't even close with him.
My mom has one of her best friends who passed away from breast cancer like 15 or 20 years ago. She has her in a Ziploc in the liquor cabinet because that's where she would have liked to be.
Yep.
That's, you know what? I might have to move Jessica to the bar. I've got two of her, I guess. So I'll put one on my desk and one on my bar.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I bought an urn online and just dumped her in there, but then I felt bad because there was still like Jessica dust in the film canisters.
Right.
So I buried those in my yard underneath some hedges, which I now call hedges.
Oh, cute! I love that.
That's cute. Okay, I might
have
have to
some-
steal that too.
I have some
Hedges.
hedges because that was our nickname for her, Jet.
Yep,
And then I
Jet.
put some quartz in there too because I'm
Oh my
a
God.
fucking freak. But they
That's
flourish.
really sweet. I have her in an urn in my living room. So
Nice.
We just watch TV together all day. And my dad. And my grandma. And
They all would
some
have
other
wanted.
dead people that I know.
Aren't cremains excellent?
They are.
Yeah.
I also saw, I think it was like a targeted Instagram ad because I'm a fucking freak that If you have cremains, you can send them into this company and they'll compress them into like a stone. Did I tell you guys this?
You told
Yeah.
us yesterday, but we lost
Yes.
that recording. So
Got it. So you can
Like a worry stone.
compress it into like a smooth, like a river rock stone, so you can just like have it.
'Cause
And
I know
it's
you can
not
also make
just
them into, like-
loose ash in a.
yeah, you can make them into
Ziploc.
like diamonds.
Like diamonds, yeah, like jewelry pieces. My
Yes.
friend's mom did that with her daughter.
I just think that stone, like a smooth stone, to just
That would be
hold
cool.
Would
Yeah.
be really, really nice.
That's very up your alley.
Yeah. So over 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. So in crematoriums, they do this with propane or natural gas, and then they like blow air in there to like
Propane
really
and
whip up
propane
the
accessories.
flames. So it's like blowing flames.
A bellows.
Also, you don't get actual ash back. What you're really getting is the person's
Cash
skeleton.
back.
Is the
Cash
person's
app.
skeleton, which is why there's chunks in there.
Okay.
So once you burn off all of the water, which actually is the part that takes the longest, because you got a lot of water in your body and a lot of water like deep in your cells. It
Well,
doesn't.
people who hydrate do. I don't think I do, but
Yeah, I'd go up like a Christmas tree in a march.
so dry. This bitch is dry.
like a Christmas tree in March.
Oh, gal.
So it actually takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to fully cremate a body, and that is mostly because of all the time it takes to get the moisture out. But then you also have to burn like the soft tissue, the organs, the skin, hair, and the vessel that you're being cremated in the first place, which I'll kind of get to.
Oh, they don't just dump you in there loose?
No. You can choose to have
Is it like a
the body
laundry, like delicates bag situation?
kind of. You can either opt for just like I think it's called a funeral gown.
Oh.
And that's just a really, really basic gown
Shroud.
of like easy to burn clothing.
What are those dry cleaner bags that you can use like in your dryer at home?
That's what she's saying.
Dry L
It's kind
or
of like
whatever.
that, but it's probably not
Exactly.
like that because they're made to be pretty flammable,
Sure.
which
So
is
like
not
a
the
literal
case
dry
for a
cleaning
dryer.
bag.
Right.
No, you don't want your dry cleaning bag to be flammable. It's the opposite.
Says you.
I know, but it is usually. Not
This
the
has
one
gone
in the
off the
machine.
rails.
Let's move on.
Okay. So anyway, what you're left with for your cremains is the bone. And when your cremation, the burning, the oven part is complete, the bones are allowed to cool to a temperature where they can be handled, and then they're placed into a processing machine. And according to this article, it
The
looks
rock
like a
tumbler.
it looks
Candida
like
was
a-
right.
no, a margarita blender. It's a blender. It's not meant to tumble anything. It's meant to break shit up, which is actually the opposite of a rock tumbler.
Right,
God.
right.
And then they're processed in that blender down to the consistency of ash, which is where they get their misnomer name.
for ya. I'll tumble for ya.
Another fun fact, the law only allows one body in the chamber at a time. So there are like,
Oh, put the three of us in together.
Yeah.
oh God, no.
I'm gonna submit Kenyon's law to Congress that allows
Mouth Congress.
Those who
mouth
podcast
Congress.
together must be
Yep.
cremated
together.
Cremated together.
I don't think the afterlife would work out so well if we were cremated together.
I think it would go great. We're all
going to
going
the
to
same
hell.
place.
Yeah.
Also, we'd have to have Amanda on ice for like 15 years minimum.
Oh yeah, because I'm going way earlier than you two.
Yeah, you are.
Absolutely.
Fully
barring any
anticipating
unforeseen
attending your funeral.
circumstances.
Hey, I would love to be cryogenically frozen until I could either A, be cremated with two of my best friends, or brought back to life through AI. Your silence is unnerving.
We've talked about all of these things. It's not a good idea.
It's an incredible idea, and continue with your cremation.
Okay, so legally, only one body at a time is allowed into the crematorium chamber. The only exception to this is not if you're podcasting partners, but if the family specifically requests that two people be cremated together. But space, being a premium in a cremation chamber, means this isn't always possible. So think about like Blortney's grandparents who died within like 24 hours of each
Yes.
other.
Yes, in like the Notebook old person scene.
It was
They
such
really
an
did.
old person thing to do. Class, vintage old person.
They probably said Social Security.
They definitely did.
No one missed out on their Social Security benefits.
But who gets their Social Security if they
No
both die at
one.
the same
Bye-bye.
time?
Nobody.
Done.
No mas. Your Social Security does not go to next of kin. If
Yeah.
you're dead, no one collects it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
It might go to spouse, no?
Yeah, but if they both
they
die-
both die.
Yeah, but nobody else.
Correct. Yeah, like my mom is collecting on
What's
my
the
dad's
point?
Social Security, but
So
it'll
dumb.
just be Dunzo when she kicks it. Hi,
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
When she kicks it. Okay, so obviously these chambers are built for one. So 2 adults that are to be cremated together oftentimes end up being cremated in 2 separate machines side by
Nope.
side because there logistically is not enough room. Also,
Put
get
us in
over
the
it.
69 position.
It kind of reminds
We'll
me
fit.
of those couples at a restaurant who insist on sitting next to
The
each
same
other.
side of the booth.
Okay. In
Don't say it.
our
Don't say it.
defense,
Oh, no.
Are you one of
Oh.
those?
sometimes we do that, but it's like when we are like, we have like something to discuss and we have to like be looking at our phones together. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we're planning this trip. And then
Do
it was
it
a
at
big
home.
booth.
Do it at
Sit-
home.
Whatever. That does not bother me.
It bothers me mostly
like,
from my
PDAing.
experience as a host at a restaurant.
What does
Because
what
I've got
difference does it make
multiple
to you?
people who have got because 2 people take up a 4-person table or a 4-person booth so that they can sit the fuck next to each other.
No,
Instead of
and that's
putting them at a
annoying.
two-top.
This is like after we've been seated, they've put us where they want us. And if it's possible and we want to be looking at the same thing together,
Well, you are one kind of person, but I can say from experience that there is a whole other category of people who insist on getting seated at a 4-person table so that they can sit next to each other.
yeah, that
that
sucks.
is really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not live to sit next to each other at home? What's a couch for? God.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
so actually, you get a lot of cremains back if you cremate a whole full adult person. So an adult human skeleton comes back as about 6 to 8 pounds of bone. So
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's good.
So-
I got a lot of ideas for shit to do with it.
Yeah. So if you want a sort of an analogy for how much 6 to 8 pounds is, think of like a child's bowling ball or like a
well, I still
Lucy-sized
use a bowling ball. That
Right.
size, so.
Or like a newborn.
yeah.
Just like density wise, though, it'd be about a bowling ball, a light bowling ball.
Wild.
Regardless of
You can
whether
make your cremains into a bowling ball.
You could. I bet it's happened.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure it's happening.
I'm sure. So, regardless of whether a person wants to be cremated after death, if the body has to travel overseas, it is required that the body is embalmed. Because usually they don't embalm people who are going to be cremated because that's just a
Right.
huge extra cost. And why?
Yep.
Even for like the U.S. military, like because they're transported so quickly now.
I'm sure
Well,
they embalm still.
This particular article came out of the UK. So I'm not sure if it's like an import sort of law or if it's just across the board.
It's just like from a pragmatic standpoint.
It
you don't
makes-
want them deteriorating in transit.
It makes sense, yeah, because the people flying the planes and moving the bodies, essentially, they didn't necessarily sign up to like handle decomposing
Rotting, flesh.
corpses.
If there are any vitamins out there who know the answer to my specific query, get at us.
Get at Kenyon.
Get at me.
So when it comes to clothing inside the crematorium, most materials like cotton, linen, and wool are fine to go into the cremator. So whatever you want your loved one to be wearing in there, for the most part, is okay. But there are some like really flammable materials like we talked about.
Okay.
So some synthetic fabrics might not be safe to go in there. And the crematorium staff will advise you on whether or not the clothes you've chosen are safe.
Also, if I'm guessing if you have like metal buttons or whatever, zippers.
They scoop that out at the end.
Oh, okay. So you
What's
can-
left over.
They scoop out that kind of stuff at the end, but if you have like a
Like a
pacemaker,
pacemaker,
for example,
yeah.
then the medical staff will remove that before you're cremated,
'Cause it can
before you're
blow
even
up.
handed over to the crematorium, because it can explode. but just metal shit gets filtered out in the margarita mixer phase.
Okay. Cool.
When the body is ready to go into the crematorium, the staff place a metal disc with that person's name on it or some other identifying information so that when the ashes come out, the metal disc stays with the ashes so the staff always know who those ashes belong to.
So does the family get the metal disc?
No, I wish.
We didn't. Not with my grandma or my dad.
No,
They don't
think so.
include the disc.
Yeah. Maybe they're like reused somehow, or maybe it's just like not the name, but like a number.
It might be just a number.
Yeah. But there is some identifying information. You're not going to get some random stranger's cremains when you're expecting.
Something has really gone wrong, which we've covered those kinds of cases.
We have covered that. I guess I'm trying to dispel some rumors that we've probably
Created
ourselves.
There are always going to be exceptions that prove the rule.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last part I found a website for Des Moines Cremation, which promises the lowest cost for cremation services in the metro area.
Wow, okay.
So I was just curious about like the process because one of my close friends, relatives died recently, like really unexpectedly, like a heart attack. And I was talking with her about how weird it is, like how quickly you have to come up with a funeral plan and all that stuff. Like it's immediate and it's weird. So I just got curious about like how much this shit costs. So I went to this website and found that you can opt for the Simple Dignified Cremation Package. This is no frills for the low price of $795 for members or $895 for non-members.
Why would you be
Get
a
in that
member
club.
of a cremation club?
Save that $100.
Also, this does not include applicable taxes.
I am absolutely going to join my local crematorium.
If you're in a hurry, you can splurge for the expedited Simple Dignified Cremation, which cuts your wait time down from about 2 weeks to some unspecified time of less than 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's not really laid out.
You get to cut the
on
line.
their website.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we can't guarantee how long the line is.
So the expedited cremation costs $14.95 for non-members or $12.95 for members.
Dang, the savings.
And membership costs $35, a one-time $35 fee, but it must be applied for and approved at least 24 hours before death. So like you have to be
Actually, some significant
committed member.
savings.
I mean,
Dang.
I would
Basically,
do
if you
it's
have
not-
somebody like in hospice,
yeah.
Yeah,
Or if you're just aging, you're just an elderly person.
Yeah.
become a member.
Yeah.
It also costs an extra $500 if you want to witness the cremation, which is sort of mandatory, loosely mandatory for a lot of religions.
Oh.
Because
Is there like a window
well, you
into the side?
no, you
the
have to
thing?
schedule an appointment to go be in the crematorium with your.
When they like push
body.
them into the machine,
Yeah.
the fire
But not
breathing
through the
dragon
whole
machine.
process.
There are several religions and like just cultural things that you have to witness
Bear
the
witness.
person being
Ah.
burned.
Sent to
I
the
knew
next.
that there are a lot of religions where like preparing the body for burial or what have you is an important part of the
Yep.
process.
Like washing the body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't know this part. Interesting.
Yeah. Also, if it's an evening or a weekend, there's an extra $300 charge. And here are some other prices.
Wow,
can
you
get-
better not die on a
bet.
weekend.
We charge extra for nights and weekends,
Oh
but
my god.
And
only for
holidays.
non-members.
This is so insane.
Capitalism will get you.
Have you guys seen that TikTok? You know that TikTok trend that's like people telling a story, but like
Yeah,
this
and then-
to this kind
Yeah.
of beat. And
One
then
thing
da-da-da-
about me is
a
ba-
da-
ba- ba-
da- da-
ba.
da. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one that was a guy who was like,
Oh,
one
the
thing
aunt.
about me is that when I was going to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving, she did something really not cool and died the night before we were supposed to get there. And then we just kind of went ahead with our Thanksgiving plans, but there was a body in the other room. And then we called the funeral home. And they were like, what the fuck? It's Thanksgiving. We can't get there for several hours. And then my mom was like, should we have pie? And I was like, fuck yeah, we should have pie.
It's so good.
I'm gonna barf.
It's like 4 minutes long.
It's so good. We have to look
Jesus.
up. We have to remember to look up that guy's handle. It's
I
so
haven't seen
good.
it, so please find it and send
I
it to
sent
me.
it to our group chat. It was so good.
I watched it like
Oh.
4 times in a row.
I'll find it. It'll be linked to somewhere.
Okay,
But
great.
I had made the pie already.
But I'd already baked the pie. So, of course, we're gonna have pie.
Oh, God.
He's like just kind of jiving the whole time, too.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
It's so good. Okay.
Okay, so price ranges go from between the alternative cremation container, which is literally a cardboard box with they charge $95 for, or a casket made of Fremont poplar, which
Wow.
costs $3,095.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. I want the bare bones
It's gonna-
package.
I wish.
She winks.
I had to pay
really
like
slowly.
$5,000 when I picked up my Grandma Helen.
Oh,
That bitch did not go out
Well,
cheap.
You might have gotten burned.
Swindled. Probably. Fucking probably. We just were stupid and followed her wishes instead of just reducing
No.
her to the cheap shit.
She doesn't care at this point.
She's dead.
She
I know. We fucked up.
Also, you can get a memorial urn or keepsake, and those range from $30 to $2,595. Also, the urn vault, which is called the Columbarium. I don't remember, but it's a vault where you can put your cremains in. So it's like sort of a combo grave site.
KFC, Taco
Cremation.
Bell, Pizza Hut.
You go there to like pay your respects. You don't take them home.
Right.
And that ranges from $495 to $1,095. And then just the
And
last
up.
thing I want to do. No, for this specific.
I know. I'm just saying. You could create any kind of fucking vault you want.
You really could. I also just want to end with some of the names of their urns, which I really liked.
Like the urn models.
One
Yeah.
Grecian urn.
Okay, so the
Do you
cremation.
remember- was it not to? I'm sorry, but was it when your dad died, Amanda, that we went to the Mall of America and
Yes.
shopped for urns?
We did. We went to Things Remembered
Yes.
Oh, that's a great store, though.
and shopped for a keepsake urn, and I still have it. That's why I put him in.
Yep.
It's
I
great.
feel like I was with you.
You probably were.
Okay.
Yeah, friends
'Cause
who
we
shop for
split up.
urns together.
Stay together.
Podcast together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here are some of the names of the urns that they sell. We have Book, Tiger Eye, Marble that comes in blue, black, green, white, or tan. Limoges, Golden Tulip, Amphora Violet, Veteran Flag Panel, Norfolk Pewter, Solitude Crucifix, Autumn Leaves, Classic Bronze, Milano Floral, Milano Pink, Sheet Bronze,
Milano
Hummingbird,
Milano Double Dark Chocolate.
Hummingbird
Milano
3D. I want
Oh,
Hummingbird
I love
3D.
Milano mints.
Eagle 3D, Lighthouse 3D, Highland, Walnut Scattering, Ocean Sunset Scattering, Patriot Scattering, Ascending Dove Scattering, Unity Heart Journey, or Basic Plastic Urn.
I'll take basic plastic for 200, Alec.
I want to see what the tiger's eye looks like.
Oh,
know,
my
I kinda
tiger's
do
eye. Blood
too.
on the moon.
Actually, I picked out my urn when we were at the funeral museum in
Yes.
Houston.
Yes, you did. And you have a photo of it.
It's gorgeous. It's blue. It's
Gorgina.
royal blue.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is my segment.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, cremationmembers.com.
But actually worth it.
So there's no quick fix for anxiety and depression. It's not just about finding a new therapist or starting an exercise routine. If one more person tells me to drink more water, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's, not if you can add more regular meditation, you can better your diet, you can drink more water, and sometimes you just need more help. Like something to almost unlock your brain, a new way of thinking about and seeing the world. And maybe that thing is guided ketamine therapy from Mind Bloom.
There's a new tool to improve your mental health, at-home ketamine therapy. MindBloom is the leader in at-home ketamine therapy, having safely helped thousands of people overcome their anxiety and depression. Unlike traditional talk therapy, ketamine works quickly and doesn't have the unpleasant side effects of traditional antidepressants. In a study of over 1,200 MindBloom clients, 89% reported improvements in their anxiety and depression after only 2 sessions.
That's amazing. And right now, MindBloom is offering our listeners $100 off your first 6-session program when you sign up at mindbloom.com/gals and use promo code GALS. So take the first step and break free from your anxiety and depression with MindBloom. mindbloom.com/gals and use promo code GALS and treat your brain.
Trade it. Your bedroom deserves a refresh, because if you're anything like me, you're in your bedroom 80% of your life.
Yeah,
and now is the perfect time to elevate the most important room in your home with Thuma.
Introducing The Bed by Thuma. This is handcrafted from eco-friendly, high-quality, upcycled wood. And the bed has a modern, minimalist design that helps elevate any space. It is super supportive for your mattress. It's breathable. It's made to naturally minimize noise and create space. So if you've got that squeaky bed situation, maybe Thuma can help you out. And the bed is put together using the timeless technique of Japanese joinery. So each piece locks. It's so cool. It looks gorgeous, too. Each piece locks into place, meaning no tools or excess hardware, no adult Legos, honey, are required for assembly. With clean lines, subtle curves, and lifestyle-enhancing details, the bed is simple sophistication for the bedroom.
Create that feeling of checking into your favorite boutique hotel suite. But at home with The Bed by Thuma. And now go to thuma.co/wine to receive a $25 credit towards your purchase of The Bed, plus free shipping in the continental United States. Go to thuma.co/wine. That's THUMA.co/WINE for a $25 credit and treat your bed.
Treat it.
Are we ready for my case?
No.
Wait, before you start your case, I thought of a good joke while I was in the bathroom.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay.
If I were the marketing director of the Des Moines Cremation Services.
Let's rephrase that. When you are the marketing director.
Yes.
Got it.
I'm going to say, as soon as you sign up for your $35 thing, I'm just going to say, you're now locked in for savings. You've earned it.
Oh, no. You have to do like a hot fire sale.
Our savings are hot.
Hottest savings in town.
Don't get burned by another crematorium.
I would absolutely join that membership.
Should we
without question.
Should we just gift this crematorium some free billboards?
Absolutely, we should. Absolutely. Yes. This is it. This is our next step.
Oh my God. Okay.
We are going to land on our feet, gals. We got this. We have so many business ideas.
We've earned it.
We've earned it.
Okay. Well, moving on. So my case was suggested by the fan picker.
So it's probably really sad.
So it's not my fault that it has only the most tangential link to our topic.
Anyone named Evelyn.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it was their fault.
My case is also deeply sad, so don't worry.
Okay.
We're twinning.
Yay.
We're twinning
Also,
in grief.
my case is just like a who's who of 70s celebrities.
Yes.
And like, obviously,
Perfect.
I like know the basics about all of these celebrities, but
Sure.
the
We weren't
70s
born.
is kind of like a blank space for me in terms of knowledge. I don't
Absolutely.
know that much about it.
Our
Okay.
boomer listeners are going to be really annoyed, and our millennial and under listeners are going to be like, oh.
Yeah, the boomers are going to be like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I don't. I'm sorry. They in school you always run out of time, and literally you make it to 1968, and then they don't tell you a dang thing
Nothing
that happened
exists.
after that.
Yep.
Okay,
Not a dang thing.
not a dang thing happened
Not a
after
gosh dang
1968. Okay, so in 1972, comedian John Belushi
I know him.
who had already made a name for himself in Second City, which brags on its website that it is, quote, the oldest ongoing improvisational theater troupe to be continually based in Chicago.
That's true.
I mean, that's funny that that's what they would brag about because Second City has churned out some incredible talent, but like that's what they're clinging
they're
to.
not wrong, but they
What on
have a
earth?
lot more to brag about.
That's
They
why
need
it's
Lucy's
so funny.
cremation marketing. Yeah.
That's why I
ASAP.
thought it was hysterical
That
to
is
be
so
continually based in Chicago.
Yeah.
In Belushi's hometown of Chicago.
Oh,
I was on a Chicago kick, y'all. I still am. I freaking love
you
Chicago.
love Chicago.
So in 1972, he leaves Chicago and moves to the Big Apple. He began working as a writer, director, and actor on National Lampoon's Radio Hour, which apparently was a thing.
Remember radio, you guys?
Oh my God. Audio is dead.
Radio's dead. Podcasting is the future.
Okay.
Where he became friends with Chevy Chase,
Ever heard of him?
which, like,
The biggest asshole in comedy?
huge asshole. Yeah.
Is he an asshole?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Like notoriously awful
He-
person.
Oh.
He got
that's too
fired
bad.
from Community for just, like, being a
Being
dick.
a piece of shit. Yeah.
And didn't they,
Really?
like, kill? I think they killed his character.
I
They
think
just
they
were
did.
like, we're fucking
Bye,
over
bitch.
you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's too bad, but oh well.
And
He
then
was great in The Jerk because apparently he's a huge jerk.
And Belushi also became good friends with Bill Murray, who is beloved but also apparently problematic.
Oh, yeah.
Moving
Oh,
on.
God, he's a man. of
Every
course.
white man.
Every
single one.
one.
Yep.
It's really pathetic, actually.
Yeah. So in 1975, Belushi was selected as one of the original cast members for the newly created comedy show Saturday Night Live.
What?
Ever heard of it?
Ever heard of it? Chevy Chase was actually the one who recommended him to the all-powerful SNL creator god Lorne Michaels. And this skyrocketed the already successful comedian to national fame. In addition to SNL, Belushi starred in numerous hit films, including National Lampoon's Animal House,
Oh, you went from a local lampoon to a national lampoon.
Local
Look at him
Lampoon.
go.
and Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
that movie.
So good.
Great film.
Both films were hugely influential and remain cult classics to this day. But this is a quote from, I don't know, it'll be listed in my sources. Quote, Belushi's...
This is a quote from fucking somewhere. I don't know.
This is a quote
Look it up.
from, fuck it.
This is a quote from, I thought that I had written where this quote was from, but I didn't. So the link is in my sources.
Yep.
Quote, Belushi's legendary character, Bluto, for example, was a directionless, this is an Animal House, was a directionless slob, and he did not even have that many lines, yet in the film he became your new best buddy as well as a comic legend. Landis had described him as a cross between Harpo Marx and the Cookie Monster.
Dang. High praise.
You guys have both seen Animal House, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I thought there would be a lot more enthusiasm, particularly from Amanda.
I am so sick, you guys.
Okay.
I'm loving this. I just cannot express joy properly in the state that I'm in. That's all.
It's a funny movie, but there are a lot of things that did not age well.
Of course not.
But
Of
it's
course
definitely
not.
like a
It's
grungy
comedy from the
college,
70s.
college boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal House is fucking hilarious.
It's good
and
for what
does
it
not
is.
hold up.
No.
Yep.
Does not hold up. No. I mean, name one thing from 1975 that
Exactly.
actually holds up.
Porky's.
It's
Oh,
70s
no, it doesn't hold
comedy. Grey Gardens.
I was just
that's
naming
it.
something from 1975.
That
I don't
holds
even know.
up.
Did Grey Gardens come out in the 70s?
I
don't know.
Porky's did and does not hold up.
We're not.
Just to clarify.
I'm refusing to discuss Porky's.
It's not great.
Okay.
Porqués?
Porky's.
No es mormon.
No, it's mormon. $1.99.
But as his fame grew, so did his reliance on drugs to cope with the stress of his exhausting schedule. His Blues Brothers co-star Dan Aykroyd later recalled, quote, "We had a budget in the movie for cocaine for night shoots.
The 70s were so much cooler than now.
Yeah.
Where's our cocaine budget?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
If I had a little coke right now, I might
You'd
be
be
a little
fine.
more enthusiastic about all of my life.
Dayquil
say-
is basically it's speed.
You're right.
Well, maybe.
I puked all mine up, though.
Yeah.
Dayquil makes me so fucked up that I'm tired again. So it
I'm
doesn't really help.
robo-tripping.
All right, finishing this quote from Dan Aykroyd. John, he just loved what it did, meaning cocaine. It sort of brought him alive at night, that superpower feeling where you start to talk and converse and figure you can solve all the world's problems.
Yeah, drugs are pretty great like that.
Yep, you're
They
describing
really make
every drug.
every drug, yeah. Pretty much.
Honestly, I thought that I would like cocaine more. Maybe I just haven't had any really good cocaine.
Well,
I've had good cocaine and it's just not, I don't know. It's not,
You got
cocaine
time.
is not my thing.
no. I mean, I have ADHD. It doesn't do shit for me, but
It balances you
No.
out.
Amanda
Yeah,
gets
I-
very corporate.
yeah, if you need me to clean the house top to bottom and write a new wine and crime ad campaign, give me all that coke.
was gonna
Let's
say.
go.
Write an essay, clean
Yeah.
the house, wash the screens.
My to-do list has never been more done.
Clean the inside of the vacuum canister.
Oh, I just did that recently. It's nasty.
Yeah. All right. By the 1980s, Belushi was reportedly spending about $2,500 a week on his drug habit.
Time
And
money converter.
Time money converter will tell you that that would be about $11,000 today.
Oh my God,
Holy
you did the time
shit.
money converter.
Of course I did.
A week. Oh my God. That's like,
$2,500 a week now would be a shit ton of money.
oh my God. Yeah.
$11,000 a week
A
on
week.
cocaine.
He's spending almost a year's salary for like most average Americans a week on coke.
That is
That's a month.
Insane.
Oh, sorry, a month on coke.
No, a
no,
week.
this is a week.
Well, but 11
Oh, you
grand
mean-
would be like
you
a
were
year's salary.
calculating.
I was multiplying it by 4.
Yeah.
That's sorry.
That's still a pretty fucking good
It's a lot of
salary.
fucking money. I'm just repackaging it in even more shocking ways.
Oh my God.
Good God.
His addiction was so severe that at one point, Belushi, quote, was reported to have drugs handed to him as he walked down the street because he needed continual fixes.
That's not safe. I did that once and woke up in the hospital. So don't just take drugs from people on the street.
No, I think he
okay?
had gophers
Oh,
bringing him his
okay.
drugs just while he was in
Walking
transit
into
from one
work.
place to another.
Well,
Holy
also, even
shit.
if it were a little bit the other way, if it was a total stranger, they'd probably be like, oh, it's fucking John Belushi. Here,
I know
take
he
some of
loves
my
coke.
shit.
Yeah, probably.
It could have been both.
I'm sure
It could have been both.
Well, then,
Oh, that's wild.
Pretty
That's so scary.
predictably, although tragically, on March 5th, 1982, John Belushi was found dead in his hotel room at Los Angeles' Chateau Marmont.
Ooh, they have a great Caesar salad there.
Lucy.
He was
I
just
like Chateau
33 years old.
Excellent menu.
Listeners, if you could see Amanda's face right now, just the utter shame.
Yeah, he's not the
great
only one
Caesar
who
salad.
died there. I'm
A lot of
sorry.
people have died there.
No, a lot of people died there.
People die in hotels all the time.
People die in that specific hotel all the time, and they have a
Absolutely.
great Caesar salad, and I'm not backing off.
So I thought that more celebrities died there than actually have.
Mhm.
Didn't John Candy die there?
I don't, it didn't come up when I
know.
was searching what celebs have died at the Chateau Marmont.
I'm Googling it right now.
But another one came up, which was photographer Helmut Newton, who was once dubbed the King of Kink. And he died in a car wreck in the hotel's driveway.
What?
He his car got out of control in the driveway and crashed into a wall and he died. But to be fair, though, he was
Oh my God.
83.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, this just lists 2
Yeah, I thought it
notable
was-
deaths. John Belushi and Helmut Newton.
I
Are you
know. I thought it was
disappointed?
more.
I kind of am disappointed. I thought that place was haunted as fuck, but apparently it's not.
No, I
Yeah.
think we're thinking of the Cecil Hotel.
No, No.
I think they've had a lot
I'm
of
not.
close calls at the
a
Marmot.
lot of overdoses.
A lot of
maybe.
overdoses.
That makes sense.
Anyway, speaking of, back to John Belushi. So,
God.
very sad.
Yeah.
Not making light of his addiction or his death.
No.
The Los Angeles County coroner reported his cause of death as acute cocaine and heroin poisoning.
Oof. Which, like, when you're doing this much powder, it's all fucking mixed together. That's like fentanyl now.
Mhm.
You don't know exactly what you're fucking getting when you're shoveling that shit that people are just walking up to you on the street and giving you.
Yeah, and
Well-
especially like up the river, they're
Yeah.
trying to make the most money that they can. So of course they're going
cutting
to
it with
cut it with
random
something
shit.
cheaper.
Exactly. And his tolerance was so high at this point that he was probably consistently pushing himself to feel the effects of whatever he was taking.
He was going to take as much as it took
yeah.
to get high.
It's just so fucking sad. Addiction is so nuts.
Mhm.
And also just the combination of cocaine and heroin is going to
Yes.
really throw your body for a loop.
It
Because
literally
one-
like shuts down your nervous system.
Yeah, one's an upper and one's a major downer, and you're just
Mhm.
It's so scary. I hate
it's not good. So at first, news coverage of Belushi's death was about the young comedian whose life was tragically cut short by drugs. But soon, tabloid coverage began referring to a mystery woman who had been with Belushi that night and who had reportedly played a key, no pun intended, role in his death.
it. Oh Lord.
So this woman was named,
Evelyn,
no, Kathy.
you bitch.
No, her middle name was Evelyn. I'm not even kidding.
Stop. Heather Fanpicker.
The Heather.
This is looser than my previous cases.
This is looser than my stools last week when I had the flu.
Oh my
Kathy
god.
Evelyn Smith. So I will be referring to her as Smith, and in
Her
your
middle name is Evelyn.
like whose isn't
Refer to her as Evelyn. Just give
Evelyn?
Oh my
Heather
god.
a little bit of credit.
Yeah. So we'll just
Heather,
call her
this is
Evelyn.
fucking spot on. I love this. You nailed it. Okay, great.
So
I love this.
Evelyn was a bit of a mystery. She had grown up in Canada. And
Is she not even dead?
We will get to it.
Okay, okay.
We're all the way back in 1982 right now.
True. Okay.
So Evelyn was a bit of a mystery. She'd grown up in Canada and had dropped out of school at 16 to pursue a career in the music industry. She was reportedly a talented backup singer, but became more well known for dating and hanging around with successful musicians.
Mm.
This included the band's Levon Helm, which literally up until yesterday when I was finishing my notes, I thought was Helms.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that band.
The band?
Like Ed Helms?
You haven't heard of The Band?
Oh, the
No.
band. Yeah.
What? No.
They
What are we
sang,
talking about? Ed Helms?
Not-
a bag, looking for a place to hide.
Oh, I don't know the names of anything. Got it.
That's the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Levon Helm was a member of The Band.
Got it. Okay. Very
And
confused. Got it.
He allegedly dated Kathy and
Evelyn.
Evelyn, who became
Get it right.
who became pregnant at 17. So just another musician added to the pedo list. Thanks,
Yep.
Obama.
Don't blame him.
So Evelyn put her baby up for adoption, and Helm never acknowledged paternity. So that's great. Another fucking band ruined.
Yeah.
The band.
The band ruined.
Literally the band.
The amount of times that we used to get high and watch the band, the documentary about the band's like last performance or something.
I had no idea that you had this kind of connection to
Yeah,
the band.
who's we?
Oh, in
You and
college.
I didn't know you've ever been
Oh.
high.
What's the band documentary? Was it made by like Scorsese or something?
I
fucking
don't
last
know. I didn't know it was the band until today.
The Last Waltz.
Okay,
It's great. It's
Okay.
a great documentary.
Oh.
I believe you.
Anyway, really recommend when you're 20 years old and high. She also had an intense years-long affair with Canadian singer Gordon Lightfoot.
That one I know.
Yeah.
which I've heard of. One of Lightfoot's most successful songs was written about Evelyn and includes the lyrics, quote, I can see her looking fast in her faded jeans. This probably doesn't help that I'm doing the accent. She's a hard-loving woman and got me feeling mean.
Oh.
So obviously that was from his song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Obviously.
Obvious, which is about Kathleen Evelyn
About
Lightfoot.
Kathy Evelyn Smith. No, I'm kidding.
Fitzgerald.
It's from the song Sundown, which I tried to listen to last night and literally couldn't get through it. Okay.
I was gonna say I've listened to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald
That was
like
the
too
joke.
many times. I
Oh,
know.
we're playing that at my wedding because it's on Lake Superior. So if you think the full extended version of that song isn't playing,
Absolutely go to the DJ and demand the wreck of
No.
the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I've already
It's
submitted
on the
it on the
playlist.
app. It's on there already. Bill and I talked about this last weekend at our tasting. We were like, you know what would be hilarious?
With a wreck
You
of
did
the Edmund
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
I was like, what if we just did a full hard left in the middle of our set? In the middle
like
of
an
dancing?
11-minute
And just played 11 minutes
It's a
of the
really
Edmund
long
Fitzgerald.
song.
You
Yup.
shouldn't do the original, though. You should have it be like sung by like one of those shanty groups.
Done.
Those viral sea shanty
Oh
groups.
God.
Sounds great. Are we still on sea shanty talk?
Oh, yes.
I hope not. Get over it.
It's not that
Jesus
special.
Christ.
After her breakup with Lightfoot, Evelyn left Canada for California. In a weird Lightfoot note, her job when she arrived in Canada or California
Oh my God.
was as a personal assistant to lawyer Edward L. Masry
Are
from
we supposed to know who that is? Masry.
Okay.
Is that the Jinx?
My whole case was based on the fact that there were all these celebrity names, and you
I feel
guys
like
don't
you're
know
counting
any
on
of
me
them.
really hard, but Lucy also doesn't know people.
I don't know who that is.
It's the
I
guy.
recognize
It's
this
the
name.
lawyer in Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, Aaron Brock.
Oh,
Oh, I thought
Ed.
that was
Ed.
They're called boobs, Ed.
Ed.
Yeah,
Okay. The
That's
way
all
I
you
thought
had to say.
played by
I thought-
Albert Finney in the 2000 film Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be Tom Girardi.
So you had told me.
Yeah, I thought that was Tom Girardi.
Okay, so I'm so happy we can bust some flim flam, as
Okay,
Allie Ward
good.
says on Ology.
Great. Okay.
Okay, because Real Housewives fans know Erica
Yep.
Jane, and
Yep.
Erica Jane was married to Tom Girardi,
Girardi,
and
yep.
everybody told me when I got into watching Real Housewives that Tom Girardi was the lawyer from
That's
Aaron
what I've been
Brockovich.
told.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he is one of the
Okay.
lawyers from Aaron
And-
Brockovich,
and he's
but
never in the
not
movie.
on.
Ed.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
the guy that Ed brings in.
Okay.
That she's
okay.
pissed that he brought someone in.
Okay. Okay.
I always thought that it was Ed, but they changed
His
Tom
name.
Girardi's name to Ed whatever for the movie.
No. So Ed is the real Ed and the real name. I mean,
Okay,
not the real
okay.
Ed. It's played by an actor. But
right. The
Yeah.
guy from Big Fish. Got it.
right.
Guy
Wow.
from Big Fish.
Yeah.
Toby
Rewatch Big
Maguire.
Fish.
Toby Maguire. Poor
Toby
man's
Keith.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm so
Already
glad
Toby
that we
Maguire.
got to cover all of this. Okay.
You busted it wide open, girlfriend.
You
I'm
really
impressed.
did.
There you go. Also, it makes so much more sense because I was so sad that Tom
Me
Girardi had
too.
like hurt all of his clients and whatever.
I
And I was
know.
like, how
But
could
really,
Ed do this to us?
He's always been an opportunistic
Yes.
lawyer.
Yep.
Yes.
This makes a lot more sense. Actually,
Yep. Aaron knew from the beginning.
I feel
Yeah.
better about the state of the world
I know.
after
Yeah.
hearing this.
Yep.
Same.
I didn't
Yeah,
know how
I'm
much it was
soothed.
bothering me till just
It
now.
really bothered me, and
Yep.
I really got like a shot of serotonin when I figured
Yep.
this out.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
feel very soothed by this news. Thank
You're
you so
right.
much.
you're right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So back to Evelyn.
Life.
So
Back to reality.
Evelyn is a groupie. She's like young and like hanging around these
Evelyn-y.
musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Then she leaves, goes to California. She gets a job as the personal assistant to fucking Ed.
The good one.
But then she's fired from this job for not being, quote, subservient enough.
Oh,
Ooh,
Ed, come on.
That's her words. Obviously, Ed does not have a problem with
Believe
strong
women.
I'm
women.
inclined to believe her.
I don't know. Dream shattered. Moving on.
Okay.
It was then that Evelyn turned to dealing drugs for income and began spending a lot of time hanging out with the
John
Rolling
Belushi.
Stones.
The Rolling Stones.
We're not to Belushi.
The band
Gordon
John
Lightfoot.
Belushi. Yeah, the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Belushis.
Got it.
She
The
would later
Rolling
say of this point in her life, quote, "I was at the top as far as living vicariously went."
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. By the late 70s, Evelyn was living in New York and still working as a drug dealer to the stars, which for obvious reasons meant she spent a lot of time on the set of SNL.
Yep. Yep.
It was here that she met and befriended Belushi. She accompanied him on his final fateful trip to Los Angeles. And Belushi's wife, Judy, opted to skip the trip and stay home in New York because she was like really fed up with his drug use and, you know, didn't want to enable, and things were tough.
Yeah.
By the time Belushi went on this LA trip with Evelyn, many of his friends had become worried about him, and one described his state around that time as, quote, exhausted and full of despair.
Oh, that's really sad.
That's not a great state to be in.
No.
So the events of Belushi's final day alive would later be laid out by SNL writer Nelson Lyon. According to Lyon, Belushi showed up at his home on March 4th, accompanied by Evelyn Smith. Smith then injected Belushi 3 or 4 times with cocaine at Lyon's home, and the three of them then went to a club called On the Rocks on the Sunset Strip.
Oof.
Which does not sound fun. At the club, Evelyn injected Belushi and Lyon with speedballs, which is a mix of heroin and cocaine.
Woof.
Yeah. Ugh.
Do we have his toxicology report?
I'm sure.
I think so, yeah.
His death was
very
pretty fucking
evident.
infamous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not even that I necessarily want to know, but I bet those numbers are scary.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So according to Lyon, so the SNL writer who's also like doing these speedballs at night, quote, "It rendered me a walking zombie and it made Belushi vomit."
So for someone that tolerant of this many drugs to get ill is saying a lot.
What the hell else was in there? Yeah.
Right.
After leaving the club early in the morning of March 5th, Smith drove Belushi and Lyon back to Belushi's bungalow at Chateau Marmont, at which point Robert De Niro and Robin Williams came by to hang out.
Oh my God.
What a life.
I want to go to that party.
Weird. No, you
And
don't. Someone died.
Yeah. And the group continued to use cocaine because this is 1982.
Yeah.
Eventually, everyone left the bungalow except for Belushi and Evelyn. Evelyn would later describe how she had become alarmed by the sound of Belushi's breathing
Oh, scary.
and woke him up around 9:30 in the morning. Belushi woke up and asked Evelyn not to leave him alone.
Oh.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
But assuming that since he was responsive, he was fine, she left the bungalow a little after 10 a.m. to run some errands.
Mm-hmm.
And then around noon, and this is by far the weirdest part of this whole tale, Belushi's personal trainer arrived for a scheduled appointment.
No.
He did like a workout?
It does not compute.
Does not compute, not like in any kind of body shaming way, but just in the like heavy drug use and like who John Belushi was.
Right.
To then
scheduling
have
a 10 a.m. personal trainer? No.
I couldn't make it to a 10 a.m. personal training appointment.
Absolutely fucking not.
That doesn't fit in with like his apparent lifestyle at all.
At all.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in a body shaming way, but
Right.
like you're not like a notorious SNL party person and have a 10 a.m. schedule like already on the schedule.
Standing appointment with a personal trainer. Yeah.
So weird.
In 1982.
Well, and at the hotel. Like, he's not home even.
Well, he was living at the hotel.
He was living there. He was like renting a bungalow, whatever.
Got it. Okay,
but still, that's
still, it's weird.
not the weirdest part about this.
It's yeah. So when Belushi did not respond to his knocking, the trainer let himself in with a key. After finding Belushi unresponsive, he called 911 and attempted to perform CPR. But when EMTs arrived minutes later, they pronounced Belushi dead at the scene.
Oh, God.
When Evelyn returned to the Chateau Marmont, she was taken into custody and questioned by police, but quickly released. Then, in June of 1982, so all of this happened in early March. He died in early March. Then in June, Evelyn stated in an interview with the National Enquirer, for which she was paid $15,000, that she had been the one, quote, responsible for Belushi's death.
What?
Saying bluntly to this reporter, quote, I killed John Belushi. I didn't mean to, but I am responsible, end quote.
Ooh, okay.
This totally unprompted tabloid confession resulted in Evelyn being arrested for second-degree murder.
What?
She was free. She was out. They weren't gonna like press charges or whatever. And then she gave this paid interview.
Can you say it was unprompted, even though they paid her $15,000 to sit down for an interview, which they could editorially manipulate?
She said the words, I am responsible.
I killed John Belushi, yeah.
Yeah. And also,
I don't know.
like, when I say unprompted, I mean, like, she had the agency to do this paid interview or not.
Right.
Right.
It's also
And then
just like...
She
It's
said
a little
it.
weird, though.
It's also just a complex situation because, like, they both had, like you said, agency and autonomy at the time of this party night. Yes, and, like, he made choices, but she also enabled choices.
Oh,
Yeah, is it murder legally if he said, "Hey, shoot me up with whatever you've got. Here's my like arm."
yeah, because you can
know.
say, "Hey, kill me," and if somebody kills you, then they still committed murder. So yeah,
Yeah.
Well, and also if it's like a personal friend of his, she might feel responsible for his death to the extent where she'd say, "I killed him. It was my fault," but not
That's
like
what I imagine is
legally
going on
speaking.
here.
She might just feel guilty about it.
right.
probably
But I think
does.
there's a difference between saying I feel responsible and
Right,
I
and
am
I killed him.
responsible. Yeah, and also like I think attitudes are changing now in cases like this where there are like drug users and one person ODs, and we want to encourage contacting the authorities so that the person ODing can get help, and so we limit the liability of those users around them, and etc. I also don't know if she was using, like she was the dealer,
Right.
and she injected him and this SNL writer and whatever. So it's possible that she wasn't even using or not using it like in quantity.
Wow, I didn't know any of this.
I didn't either. So anyway, the point of all this is to say she goes to this paid interview with the National fucking Enquirer and says
Yeah,
this
which,
wild
ew.
shit and then gets arrested for second degree murder.
That's nuts.
She's charged and ultimately agrees to a plea bargain that reduced the murder charge to involuntary manslaughter and 3 drug offenses, which was also pled down. It had been 13 drug offenses. The judge in her case stated at sentencing, quote, "You were brought into the action with Mr. Belushi's circle of friends because you were the connection, the source of that poison. You knew how to use the needle."
Oof.
Smith served 15 months at the California Institution for Women for her role in Belushi's death. In prison, she reportedly taught computer skills to fellow inmates, including members of the
SNL.
Manson family.
Oh my God.
SNL.
The band. SNL.
The band. SNL. Robin Williams.
Holy shit.
The band.
I can't think of
Ed
much.
Nasri. Aaron Brockovich. The weirdest fucking amalgam of
This is
names.
so nuts.
This is the 18 Degrees of Kevin Bacon
It's
episode.
so bizarre.
Evelyn knew everybody.
She taught computer skills to the Manson family in 1982.
The fuck?
This is a really odd potpourri of like LA.
It's so LA. This is the
Really
most
LA.
LA shit I've ever fucking heard.
So after her release from prison, she was deported back to Canada, where she lived out the rest of her life as a very private person and avoided the press to the best of her ability, and I'm assuming stopped selling drugs.
Wow.
But there were some tabloid paparazzi photos of her from 2020 of her.
Oh.
So
Just
she
like,
is alive.
So go to, well,
She's not even dead, Heather. Come on.
well, 2020 is not 2023.
I
And go to photos. These will be on the blog. There are
Le blog.
a million photos, but look for ones of an old woman in a pink bathrobe.
Oh, honey.
Oh, no.
Oh,
she's
let her
me.
live.
She's me.
She wasn't ready for the press, clearly.
So the paparazzi were taking photos of her pretty inexplicably outside of her senior living facility in
Yeah, that
She
Canada.
looks like
Like
she's
a
waiting for a
private home.
package or something.
Yeah. That's a vestibule.
I just thought that was like, why?
Right. You're not relevant anymore.
Like-
and I don't mean that in like a mean way.
But,
It's like,
who's
why?
staking
Were
this
you-
woman out?
Yeah, who's buying those pictures?
Right?
Who gives a fuck about these pictures of an old lady who may or may not have been partially responsible for killing John Belushi in her bathrobe?
Right?
I don't get it.
Like 40 years later.
Yeah.
So according to
The
one
paparazzi's
friend,
so fucking weird.
it's very strange.
It's
According
so
to
weird.
one friend of Evelyn's, the Belushi episode haunted her for the rest of her life. Quote, that was her remorse, her self-persecution. If she had any regrets in her life, that was it. And it's like,
Yeah.
yes. Like, obviously, if somebody dies because you dealt them drugs, I hope
I think I
you're
would have.
remorseful.
I mean, I feel like I'm probably being a little hard on her, but also she did it. She didn't just deal him drugs; she injected him with them.
Mm-hmm.
But he, like I said, he made his choices. It's not like
Yes.
she held him down. He's keeping this company on purpose. He was a drug addict.
Yes.
Yeah. Like yes, in effect, it was essentially holding a gun to his head, but at the moment, it
No,
certainly wasn't that. I feel sympathetic for her personally.
I also feel bad for her too. But it kind of reminds me of like if a child gets a hold of their parent's gun or something. It's like it's in your possession and you know it's here and it caused harm.
So it's
just
your
really-
responsibility.
To not. I mean, I don't know. So many people made choices in this situation. I'm just saying I'm not against her having some of the responsibility for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for her because this is
It
a
can be
really
both.
fucked up and shitty situation. Yeah.
And
He
also,
would have gotten his hands on fucking drugs if she was putting them in his arm or not.
Yeah, and also
Like that man was headed toward death regardless of her part in it.
and not to pull this card, but it was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
And I think
Absolutely.
people didn't know how fucking serious this shit was.
Well, when you're that deep in addiction, you don't give a fuck.
Well,
Even if you do know, you
yeah.
don't care. You don't care. Oh, that's so
Yes,
sad.
and.
Yeah.
So Evelyn spent the last decade of her life in an apartment building for senior citizens, which she moved into after a fire destroyed her previous apartment and most of her possessions.
Wow. Well, she's paid some dues in the aftermath of this situation.
God, Gordon Lightfoot looks awful.
Yeah. So there's a couple of really scary photos of Gordon Lightfoot in my photos.
He's a scary man.
Evelyn died on August 18th, 2020 at the age of 73, so she is a dead Evelyn. A dead
Well,
Kathy
fuck.
Evelyn.
Nice.
Okay. Kevlin.
One obituary called
Devilin.
her, quote, a
Evelyn.
notorious, colorful Gordon Lightfoot note in pop culture history.
Wow.
Oh,
okay. Kenyon, I think, added Gordon Lightfoot. Likes.
Yeah, she was a footnote.
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
wild.
Yeah,
What a weird story.
Yeah.
I just feel like this weird era in like comedy specifically with like John Belushi and Phil Hartman.
John
and, like, there was
Candy,
John Candy, fucking
that other guy,
in a van
fat
down by
guy
the
in a
river. Oh
little
my god.
coat.
Why am I so bad at this? Yeah.
That guy.
You know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But there was so much like rapid decline. I don't know.
Premature death.
So much premature death.
Yeah.
It happens in Hollywood a lot too. I think when people go from a pretty average existence to then being launched into a spotlight and given a seat at such an epic table.
Chris Farley.
Yes.
Chris Farley, yes. And then you have access to just literally anything you want with no one telling you no. It's a fucking scary, dangerous cocktail, man.
Look at John Mulaney, too. I mean,
Yeah. And he got out. Like,
hopefully. Yeah.
he survived for the time being.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's scary.
Is he a crazy addict too?
He was. He's in recovery.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
But
But also the Caesar salad at the Chateau Marmont.
Okay.
Mm.
And with that, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Chateau Marmont.
I hope. Let's talk about grooming for a minute, like not on your pets, on your bod,
Your own bod.
on your puss.
Oh.
But, hair is hair, right? We all have it in practically all the same places. So, why, as people on a spectrum of genders, are we told to groom a certain way with these hypergender tools on the market? It's very annoying. I'm a woman, and I'm often told by society to undergo painful and expensive processes like waxing and laser hair removal.
Or to buy the pink stuff and not the charcoal gray stuff.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't want to be told how I should groom my body hair, and that's why I love Meridian. Tell us more, Lucy.
Well, I just got 3 words for you. The Meridian Trimmer. I've been using this trimmer since before they were a sponsor of our show, and I love it. So this high-quality grooming device is fitted with safe ceramic blades, so it's not going to tug. It's not going to nick.
Mm-hmm.
It's also waterproof. You can use it in the shower.
Oh, that's the best, because that's where I like to do my trimming.
Exactly. That's the only place it really makes sense.
It really does.
This trimmer is designed for all body and hair types. It helps you smoothly cut through your hair without those nicks and those cuts, even in the most sensitive areas. You know where I use this thing.
Yup,
And it's great. It's changed my grooming life. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've partnered with Meridian Grooming to grant you an extra 15% off on this trimmer using the coupon code GALS, GALS. So that's meridiangrooming.com, MERIDIAN grooming.com/gals for an exclusive 15% off. Society's attitude towards body hair is changing, and Meridian is ushering in a new era of inclusive grooming along with it. Their mission is to help you feel confidently yourself, however you choose to take care of your body hair.
Heck yeah. So one more time, that's GALS for an exclusive 15% off, and treat your grooming.
Straight up.
All right, are you guys ready for my case?
I
think
know.
so.
You said it was really sad.
It is. And it's also up there on the Grizzly Details meter. So
I love Grizzly Details.
I know you do, but it's not great. I'm going to get those out of the way right here at the top. So buckle up.
Okay.
On December 20th, 1976, the body of a teenage girl was found dismembered and packed into 3 suitcases on the pack of the Lehigh River in Whitehaven, Pennsylvania. This river runs along Interstate 80, leading investigators to believe that the suitcases had been tossed from a vehicle to the water below, but didn't actually land in the water as intended.
So wait, did you say that they were found on the banks of the river?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They didn't actually land in the water.
Got it.
The fall, though, from the bridge over the river is about a 300-foot drop, and the impact caused 2 of the suitcases to burst, exposing the remains of the girl and the remains of a fetus estimated to be about 9 months gestation, but still, clear the child had not
9 months.
been born.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yep. And they deduced that the fetus had been removed during dismemberment after she was killed.
So just horrific.
Yep. The worst
How
possible
dead
fucking
was she?
thing.
I mean, how old was she? How long dead was she? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think she was very dead. I think they
decomposed.
they found these dismembered remains within, I think, a few weeks of her death. There was nothing that said that she was super badly decomposed or anything like that.
A few weeks is enough. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, seemingly to hide identifying details of the suitcases, they had been spray painted black, but identifying designs and patterns still showed through some portions of the paint. Autopsy revealed signs of sexual assault and ruled her death to be caused by strangulation, and concluded that the dismemberment had been performed with a serrated blade.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. And there was a note that was it wasn't done super sloppily, but it wasn't done with precision either. So this is not somebody who...
So it's not a doctor, but
Right,
maybe
but
they
probably
have
not-
experience.
I don't think so. But it's just...
You're probably going to want a serrated knife in terms of dismemberment. So they kind of had intention.
They or tested. I don't know. I don't know. She also had a gunshot wound to the neck that appeared to be a post-mortem wound, which is like, why fucking bother? But just, I guess, making sure she was dead after strangling her, he shot her in the neck.
Oh my
Her
God.
nose, breasts, and ears had been removed and were never found.
What the
Her
fuck
nose, breasts,
case did you
and
choose?
ears.
Mm-hmm.
This is an OG
It's a dooz.
kind of case.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this poor woman.
Never
I know.
found.
Never found. Among the remains were packing materials like straw and packing foam, a bedspread, and a newspaper that had been used to wrap parts of the body. The newspaper was called the New York Sunday, and it was dated September 26, 1976, and was linked to the northern part of New Jersey where the local publication was distributed. The girl's identity was unknown, though it was determined that she was a white woman in her late teens or early 20s with shoulder-length brown hair, measuring approximately 4 feet 11 inches tall and weighing approximately 150 pounds. A sketch of the victim was circulated, pointing out 2 identifying moles on her cheek, hoping that people would recognize her.
Oh my God.
I'm constantly in awe of what we can discover from forensic science, even at a time long before DNA evidence. Turns out some of these findings were not accurate.
Because this
But
was in
they-
the 70s?
This is in the 70s. She was found in 76. But, you know, they did their best to find the identity of this girl. Investigators went back to basics. They started with a review of her teeth. A pathologist determined that while she had clearly received dental care in her youth, she likely had not been to a dentist in many years, as evidence of substantial tooth decay and chipping was present. Isotope analysis indicated that she may have lived in the American South, likely Tennessee or a surrounding area, for at least 5 years, but that she most likely came to the U.S. from Serbia or Croatia, which turned out not to be true, but that was what they thought. Analysis of the child revealed that the baby was a girl and that she had gestated in the southern part of the United States. And I know you did an entire case on like cats and wigs and all this shit to explain this forensic
Isotope
sorcery.
analysis.
Yes, but I'll never comprehend how we could like even begin to narrow down any of this shit, especially in like the 70s.
It's fucking amazing.
It's really
I don't know
nuts.
how they did it in the 70s. I don't know how they do it today, but
Yeah,
it's
it's crazy.
magic.
Yeah.
It's
But
literal
they
magic.
sound confident. So
I'm going with it.
yeah.
Another creepy detail noted by the medical examiner was a series of numbers and letters written on the victim's body in ballpoint pen. The numbers were located on the victim's left palm, which could indicate that she was right-handed and wrote the numbers herself.
Yeah, definitely.
The writing was a bit faded, but included the letters WSR and the numbers 4 or 5, followed by another 4 or possibly 7.
It's like a license plate.
Kind of sounds like a license plate. Could be.
Yeah.
Fingerprints were run through FBI databases and didn't return any hits. And until her identity could be confirmed, she was simply referred to as Beth Doe. Despite circulation of her sketch and pertinent identifying details and a couple of leads, the case went cold. Beth Doe was finally laid to rest with her child in 1983.
Wait, remind me why do we know her first name is Beth?
I don't know why they called her Beth Doe. I think they just
Okay.
used different names.
It wasn't a Jane Doe.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they just tack on
different lady names.
different common names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Investigators continued the search, cross-checking Beth Doe's details against 12 missing women who could have been a match. These women included Anastasia Benitskas of Australia, Iris Brown of Vermont, Valerie Cuccia of New York, Teresa Fitton of Florida, Treddy Gibson of Tennessee, Rory Kessinger of Massachusetts, Anna Leatherwood of Tennessee, Georgia Nolan of Kentucky, Sherry Roach of California, Mary Robinson of New York, Patricia Seelbaugh of Pennsylvania, and Denise Sheehy of New York. But none of these missing women were a match.
It's horrifying that there are this many people to like
Yeah.
Yep.
pick out.
And that's only the 12
People
that
who
they thought were the
matched.
best
Oh, I
fit.
know.
Yeah,
The number of missing people there are
Yeah.
actively missing now is
I know.
really
I agree.
unsettling.
That's why I wanted to include their names, because it's just like, I don't know, it's really fucking sad.
yeah.
For over 20 years, this case sat unsolved while technology caught up, and in 2007, Beth Doe's remains were exhumed for new testing. New facial reconstructions were made, and folks were hopeful for a lead, but alas, nothing. Then in 2019, investigators got a promising call. Updated reconstructions had been released in 2015, and these sparked an anonymous tip from a woman who believed she had gone to grade school with Beth Doe, what the person pictured. She knew her as Maggie Cruz and was classmates with her in Framingham, Massachusetts. Maggie was living with her foster family and had one foster sister. Maggie and her foster sister had run away from their foster home at the age of 16. Her foster sister returned shortly thereafter, but Maggie did not. According to this tip, Maggie had called a friend and classmate a few weeks later in the summer of 1976 asking for money because she had found out she was pregnant. And that was the last time that folks had heard from Maggie, as far as they knew.
Wow.
These details were so promising and seemed to really match up with evidence in this case, so investigators went public to see if they could locate Maggie Cruz. Fortunately for Maggie, she was tracked down alive and well, but this meant Beth Doe was still a mystery. Like, you never want someone to be dead, but it's like, Maggie's fine.
I mean, best case scenario, they found Maggie. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Wow.
So until spring of 2021, 45 years after her remains were found,
Jesus.
Family who had never given up on finding her were the key. This is a quote from CNN. Quote, Evelyn Collin was one of 5 siblings in Jersey City, New Jersey, when she got pregnant in 1976 at the age of 15 by her then 19-year-old boyfriend, Luis Sierra. Quote, back then things were different, said Miriam Collin Veltman.
Is it maybe Cologne?
I don't know if it's colon, or Cologne, but it's spelled colon.
C.
Miriam CV, who's Evelyn's niece. So Evelyn had siblings, and the siblings had children. So she has these nieces and nephews that she never met. And this niece and later nephew is recalling growing up, learning stories about where Evelyn had gone, which nobody knew where she had gone.
So people were like, back then people were guessing where she might have gone, or they were telling the kids like, oh, your Aunt Evelyn is here, so that they're not worried about her.
We'll get
Maybe
to
both.
it.
Okay.
So, quote, she says, back then things were a little different. It was a different culture, a different time. In the 70s, you get your girlfriend pregnant and you move out. That's how it is. So when Evelyn discovered that she was pregnant, she told her family and she did what was traditionally expected of her. And she moved in with her boyfriend to raise the child and eventually get married when she came of age.
Oh, God.
She was 15.
Ugh.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
They got an apartment not far from her family home, and her mother would stay in contact with her.
How old was the boyfriend?
19.
Oh,
So-
overage.
Overage.
Yeah.
Old enough. One day, Evelyn called her mother to tell her that she felt ill, and her mom offered to bring over some soup and care for her. But when she arrived at her daughter's apartment, nobody was home. With Evelyn's mother since passed, Evelyn's niece Miriam recalls, quote, she just left. People around the neighborhood, they said, oh, they moved away. So that's the story that we grew up learning.
They meaning
Like,
So,
they
like,
meaning
the mother
Evelyn,
or Evelyn?
Evelyn and her boyfriend just left. And the neighbors were telling Evelyn's family that they moved. And they just... it's 1976, like 1970, whatever. There's no
And then
Facebook,
Evelyn's
there's no internet.
mom died, and then
Evelyn's mom later passed,
nobody knew.
and nobody knew where she went. They just assumed she left.
Ugh.
And people around the neighborhood said, "Oh, they moved away."
So
So
she
that was
wasn't
just-
considered missing.
Correct.
She was just
Or
gone
reported missing.
because it was the 70s.
Yeah. Well, and this was substantiated for the Collin C family when they received a letter from Luis Sierra a few months later explaining that they were doing well but had indeed left Jersey City, and Evelyn wanted no contact with her family.
Never
I think this
believe
was-
a letter written in
Never.
somebody else's hand.
Never.
We've moved away. She doesn't want anything more to
talk
do
to
with
you.
you.
I think it was probably believable because it's very possible there were members of her family who were upset about the pregnancy.
Yeah.
I can't substantiate that, but
Things were
that's
already
kinda where-
rocky.
yeah, things were already tough. I mean, I'm not blaming this family in any way, shape, or form, but to be kind of like, oh, okay, you're 15, you're pregnant, you're going to move in with your 19-year-old boyfriend. Something else is probably going on in that house anyway.
Yeah.
So it just leads me to believe that maybe there were issues
Strained
between her.
relationships.
Yes, correct. Quote, they always felt she left with him to start her new life with him, and she just wanted to stay away, said Evelyn's nephew. But the family never heard from her again. So nieces and nephews that Evelyn never got the pleasure of meeting had held on to the stories and memories of their long-lost aunt. Her nephew said that his father, so Evelyn's brother, would constantly search for her and had hoped to find her in more recent years with the advent of the internet and Facebook.
That is so sweet.
Well,
I know.
especially if the brother thinks that she's still alive, like,
Yeah, and he's
of course in 2004 you'd have a Facebook.
And he thinks,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. She's got kids, and so he would have nieces and nephews, and
Yep. They'd
Yeah.
have cousins.
yeah.
That's exactly it.
That's so sad.
Evelyn's mother would live the rest of her life seeing her daughter's face in strangers on the street. Quote, I would see my grandmother. She would walk around Jersey City and look for her. She'd say, hey, did you see Evelyn? She would think she saw her and tell my other grandmother, hey, I think I saw Evelyn, she would say. I don't know why. I can't find her.
Oh
So
my
this poor
gosh.
mom just,
I want to know where in Jersey City they lived.
I don't know. Could have been anywhere near you.
Maybe they asked
When-
Mormon.
Maybe. They're not. But when the internet didn't yield results, Evelyn's nephew, Luis, decided, so the boyfriend's name is Luis, but her nephew is also named Luis, decided to submit his DNA to one of the now popular services like 23andMe. Quote, about 4 years ago, I heard about the DNA stuff and I wanted to see, hey, this could be an awesome tool if I could connect with my family and specifically connect with my cousin because they knew that Evelyn was pregnant. So he's like, I have a cousin somewhere
Yeah.
because I knew she'd had a kid or cousins, maybe multiple children, or just find her, he said. So I got the kits. I purchased one for me, for my wife. I ordered another one from another website because I felt the more sites I'm on, the more chance that something would come up from that.
And it does,
And it does.
as I can attest.
Yep.
Moving
Yep.
on.
Moving on.
But also, like, the hope behind that is really sad.
I know.
I just signed up for more and more because I just wanted to increase
Well,
the chances.
it's a smart thing to do if you.
Yes,
It's
of
absolutely
course.
smart.
But I
It's really fucking tragic in these circumstances. But yeah, I mean, submitting your DNA can give
A lot.
answers and
And
Yeah.
questions.
questions. It can be a lot more complicated than, oh, my family's from blah, blah, blah. So you're saying I could look for
truth is the truth.
distant relatives, fourth cousins, or something like that showed up, he said, but never his aunt or her child. Until March of 2021, quote, I get notified that, hey, your DNA was matched to a victim of a homicide, Louise said. So
Can
we got
they do that? Can they
parent?
show that?
Okay, so when you submit your DNA to a service like that, you can opt to also share it with like police database, have
Yes,
it be
I knew
accessed by
that.
broader databases.
But I guess I
So-
just didn't realize you'd get a notification like that. I thought the police department would call you or something, you know?
Oh, no. I think they were notified by the police. He was
Oh.
notified by the police.
I
Not
thought it was like a
by
pop-up on
23andMe.
Ancestry.
Oh, no.
Regardless, that's really cool.
He was contacted by authorities.
Oh, okay.
Luis said, so we got in touch and they asked me, do you know anyone missing in your family? And I immediately, once they reached out to me, I knew it was her. It was obvious. There was no other person in my family who was missing. And that's when the ball started rolling. I wanted to find her, but not find her deceased.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't even imagine what this family must have experienced getting this news. Like, it's 45 years later. Both of Evelyn's parents are gone. The remaining family had never heard of the Beth Doe case. And now they have all of this information about such a brutally violent death for their lost family member and that baby. It just fucking breaks my heart.
God. It's honestly maybe a blessing that her mother wasn't alive
know.
anymore.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I mean, if this kind of news doesn't kill you as a parent, I don't know what would. They even named Evelyn's daughter Emily Grace, trying to honor Evelyn by using names they believe she would have chosen for her. And despite the trauma around this discovery, there was a tiny spark of relief for the family as well. Quote, we finally got the answer, Louise said. It gives me peace to know, at least now I know and we know that she wasn't she didn't purposely leave us. It's nothing that we did, and that really, really makes me feel good to know.
Yeah.
Another tiny spark of relief came with the news that her suspected killer, Luis Sierra, was alive and living in New York, meaning he could finally be arrested and face some form of justice for his crime. Luis Sierra, 63 years old at the time of his arrest, was charged with one count of criminal homicide and extradited to Pennsylvania. From what I could find, this court case is still ongoing. So Sierra first appeared in Pennsylvania court in July of 2021, where his attorney filed a motion to dismiss the case entirely for habeas corpus, which is basically the defendant saying, this is an unlawful detention and I didn't do this and you don't have evidence. The defense also claimed there was no physical evidence to connect him to Evelyn's murder.
But there was that fucking note.
Yep. Sure was. He was granted bail in June of 2022, $250,000 bail. And this is like another reason why I hate bail. Like, this fucker has he's had over 40 years of freedom. And after such a horrific crime, should have to wait while he awaits trial.
These charges. Bail makes no fucking sense.
It makes no sense.
And at the same time, if you don't have enough money, you could be accused of fucking anything and spend months in jail.
Exactly. It's bad on every fucking...
It's ridiculous.
Every
it's
fucking
all
side.
predicated on wealth.
Evelyn's family was devastated about this news, obviously, and said exactly what we're all thinking. Quote, $250,000 and he's out free, enjoying, celebrating with his family. What about my family? What about Evelyn and her baby?
What about the public? He's a risk to he's potentially a risk to other people out there.
Could be. Who knows? He was only released because of a Pennsylvania Supreme Court decision in a different case months prior. So a lawyer named Theron Solomon explained in an interview that the decision adds nuance and complexity to charges as they relate to bail, and a mere homicide charge is no longer enough to revoke bail, and increases the requirements for burden of proof. He went on to say, quote, so it's not about is Mr. Sierra a danger to the community, it's can the Commonwealth demonstrate that it's substantially more likely than not that Mr. Sierra committed this crime.
But how can you determine that before the trial? You can't.
Yeah, that's what a jury is for.
I know.
That's what
I know.
a trial
It's very
is
weird.
for.
And now that's going to be the standard for all cases in this area, at least of Pennsylvania. And so, like, on one hand, I really do get this and actually in some ways agree with this change because it requires more evidence from the state before just throwing folks in jail. Like, so many people sit in jail on bullshit charges without much of a burden of proof and just, like, sit in jail waiting for trial. But homicide
Murder?
and literal unborn child murder.
Also, wouldn't that prejudice a jury? I mean, maybe you could, like, keep them from knowing whether or not this person got bail or not before the trial, but
I certainly think it could.
If you can't, it would prejudice the jury if you knew that somebody was denied bail and now you're like, oh, well, I guess they must have.
Absolutely.
They probably really are guilty.
There's some
they
reason
already had
why.
to prove some burden of truth in some murky pre-trial backroom decision.
I don't think we're purporting to have a solution to this problem,
No,
but it
we're
is
not.
a huge fucking problem.
Yeah. It's really tough. Like, this shit is so complicated.
This is also, like, gonna be probably pretty hard to prove, unfortunately.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Like, obviously, circumstantially, the partner
up.
did it and
Yep.
he sent that note, but, like, shit. Maybe
The
they have
note is kind of all they have at this point. As far as I know, they might have DNA that we don't know about because this is an ongoing trial.
and the fact that he, like, never reported her missing.
Yep.
And on the off chance that this guy is innocent of this horrific crime and like playing it against the possibilities that people who
He didn't report her missing.
who were convicted of a crime that were actually innocent, like
Right.
I don't know how to weigh those things.
I don't either. But whatever side of the coin you fall on, it doesn't negate the heartbreak that her family felt upon his release. And, like, I mean, this whole case is fucking devastating, but I'm not sure when he is set to return to court, and I can't seem to find any updates because this is ongoing. So if any listeners are in that area and you know what's going on with this case, my DMs are fucking open because this is, like, cuckoo bananas.
Also, let me know the cross streets that they lived on in Jersey City.
We were
you
neighbors.
can find them.
Anyway,
I'm working on it.
Take 4
that's
minutes
my
and you'll
really
find it.
sad fucking case. Sorry, guys.
Okay, well, Evelyn.
Thanks, Evelyn.
Thank you to Evelyn and thank
Talking
you to
to you
Heather.
face to face, maybe.
And I hope that this family
Maybe.
gets some justice.
Justice. I know. I do too. I just, I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like this is another one of those cases where I'm like, oh, I don't have anyone that I know to be missing in my family, but it's like, it kind of makes you wonder.
If you did, though, that would change
submit
your
my-
entire life.
Oh, no, I know.
feel like
I would not even question submitting my DNA. And I am curious about doing it, but it's like, I don't know. It's really fucking amazing what these DNA databases can
and
discover.
there are a lot of ethical questions about
Yeah,
And there are a
we've
lot of
talked
ethical
about that
questions.
a lot
Yeah.
at length.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just-
there's a lot to consider.
Anytime there's a case like this, it gets me my wheels turning about the DNA database stuff.
The Internet of Things.
Exactly. At the end of the day, they figured out what happened to their family member, and it was not what they hoped for, but at least they have some fucking answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody go feel sad now.
Thank you to Heather. Thank you to Evelyn.
Oh, shake her bag, babe.
Thank you, Majid. Okay.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers.